Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Now, Danielle, throughout all of today's show, we are going to be celebrating AAPI Heritage Month, and our first guest is quite a remarkable representative of the Asian American community.
Absolutely. She is a woman of many, many talents and is focused on using her gifts and experiences to help others. Please welcome to Main Street Living, Amy Minh Hanh Corey. Amy, thank you so much for joining us on Main Street
Hi.
Living.
Thank you so much for having me. It's good to see you guys.
So where do we
Likewise.
start with you? Because you are a singer, a songwriter, a speaker, an activist, a life coach. The list just goes on and on. You do it all. You live in Nashville, but we know you were born in Vietnam. How do you think having these Asian roots has influenced your life and how you approach it?
I feel, for me personally, I find it so special to be able to be balanced between the two. I mean, like Vietnamese born and rooted, yet American grown. I feel like internally, like my Vietnamese heritage and my connection and my knowledge within Vietnamese culture and just how Vietnamese people are really works just so perfectly with the external opportunities that America offers. And
Yeah,
it's just such an honor and to me.
yeah. Well, a lot of folks do honor May as AAPI Heritage Month, and for others that don't know, that's Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So why do you think it's important to set aside a month to focus on the specific group of people?
Well, it's AAPI month. It's also Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's also my birthday month. So it's
Ah,
overall just a
Lots
great
going on.
month. But I think it's really special to have these highlighted months. I do believe that every day, every culture should be celebrated. But I think when it's so well publicized, all I hope you are able to take away is just compassion and awareness that there's a bigger world out there than you, and it's important to be aware of other people's lives and what they're going through and just a different perspective, and realize that it can open your heart and your mind to see what other people are going through and to remain kind to every single person, no matter race, religion, etc.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought up compassion because we've all heard about the rise in anti-Asian hate crimes over the last couple of years. How has that terrible trend impacted you personally?
It's hard to hear and it's hard to see. I am very lucky that my experiences with racism, as awful as they may hear and be heard, it is not as dangerous as others. And I find myself very lucky for that. And it's just awful to hear. It's awful to see. And I think everything that racism has brought to me and everything that has been said about me towards my race in all are things that I honestly love about myself. And so I recognize that it's not me, it's someone else. Yet hate, in my opinion, should never be fought with hate. I think it just adds more to the war. And instead, sometimes in a situation, if you can kind of step away from it, recognize that sometimes the people who do hate the most need to be shown kindness the most.
Yeah, yeah, and that's so true because I know that they usually say those that are hating are also hurting the most. So hurt people hurt people. And as a black person living in America, I know what this next question would feel for me. But I can also ask you, like, do you feel like things are starting to get better?
I believe that they are getting better, but I do recognize that you have to be very aware in a sense of how connected one person is to the world. I feel like individually, a lot of people are starting to start their journey on becoming a better person and becoming open and recognize their faults and find compassion and understanding. And that will always be connected to the world. But I think it's so hard to recognize someone's individual light when there's so much darkness surrounding the news and just kind of what you see and hear. But I do believe it gets better because I feel like individual people are getting better and it's on the right track. And I think if we just continue to love and nurture ourselves, it's a ripple effect and it'll ripple in the same sense as hate cycles.
Hold up, do you do public speaking at all? Because that was very well done.
One of her qualifications.
Right.
Amy, I'm glad you mentioned too that, yeah, it does seem like a lot of stuff is so dark out there. So let's focus on the positive. What is one thing that each of our viewers can do to celebrate AAPI Heritage Month and learn a little bit more about our Asian neighbors?
I think in all, I love these months because I just hope it, like I said, it shows compassion. I feel like if you can take a day, take your worst day, and recognize that just because you might be having a bad day, you don't want to make anyone else's day bad as well. Everyone fights their own wars. And I very much practice during these times. You know, if I'm stressed out, if I'm feeling unkind to myself on that day, I do not need to continue pushing it out externally. I can stay patient, you know, in the traffic. I can stay kind to others who treat me wrong, and just, you know, celebrate kindness and celebrate compassion and eat a lot of Asian food like pho and lo mein, just everything. I love that food and music and everything going on is just so connected. And I think you don't really need to specifically celebrate a certain culture. You just have to be aware that it's there and appreciate its own, you know, individual aspect of it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the one thing that we do appreciate, just like I asked on my last question, I mean, I understand there's a rumor that you recently gave a TED talk. See, I knew you was doing some public speaking. So, what's the topic about, and what was that like?
It was it was quite a special occasion and an honor. It was about mental health. It was about starting within. It was about the ripple effect of nurturing oneself to nurture to your community and to the world. And it was a very different story because I was asked to do it. So I felt like I really had to work hard to deserve it. I very much try to make sure that I work for everything I get. And for this to come to my table, I spent about 4 months doing it with Vietnam and Vietnam's mental health. And I wrote it with a bunch of former diplomats and the former ambassador to the EU, and just really was able to be educated on that. Vietnam, every single country experiences mental health issues. They just see it differently. And so to be able to write an entire TEDx talk with the balance between what I know America struggles with mental health and what Vietnam struggles with, and be able to communicate the same message to both cultures in a way that both would understand, really opened my eyes on how to stay balanced within, you know, what I speak and also how I communicate it, because it's not always about the message, it's about how you communicate that message.
I like that.
And I found that if I can do it to both Vietnam and America, that are two separate, completely different cultures, I can really do it to the rest of the world as well. And it was very special. I'm very honored to do it.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Amy, on
Thank
that.
you.
And how can viewers keep up with you, find out all the things you're up to?
AmyCorey.com is my platform. Amy Corey is my domain, thank goodness. And the number one thing I'm excited about is just getting back on tour for music and public speaking. And I always say, if you want to hear me speak, your voice has so much power in that decision as well. I go because I am wanted to be there. And if I would love to meet everyone and start seeing people face to face again.
Yeah,
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
for
Thank you
sure.
so much, Amy. We so appreciate you coming by.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys have a great day.
You too.
Wow. Well, I love it. We're keeping up with the AAPI community today. Next up, though, we'll be taking a look at some murals that you have to see to believe.